Hello everyone, we're here today to talk about Battlestar Galactica. So I'm wearing my Battlestar Galactica shirt. Okay, now this is not from the original series, that's pretty obvious. We're talking about the original series today because I have purchased this. I know there's 2 or 3 reviews of this on the net already. What can I bring to this that others don't have? I have one of these. Actually, I have 2 of these from the 2 different releases of this model. One of them sealed in a box in storage somewhere in an undisclosed location. Okay. I want to show you guys the differences between the original, and I'm pretty sure this is the original one. This has a 1979 date on it. And the Moebius Models release. There's quite a few differences, and I'm going to go over them real quick. I'm going to stop recording for a second to reposition the camera. I've already got the boxes open. There's parts everywhere. I did this review last night, and well, there were problems with it, okay? Quite often when I do these videos, there's more than one take. So let me reposition the camera and we'll get started. Okay, won't take long. All right, you guys have already seen a review of the Revell kit at one time. I have it on my website already. I mean, up on YouTube already. There's not many pieces to it. The main body is in 2 pieces. Okay, it is. This one's molded in silver plastic. I don't know what the other one's molded in because it's in a sealed box. There are side panels that go in here. There's a rear engine panel. Here's the rear engine panel. Lighting this thing with fiber would be fun, but this engine is the worst part of this kit because those are deep recesses and there are details in there, and you're going to have to be very careful how you drill that out and replace it. Okay? I would be tempted to just try to sand it down on a belt sander until that plastic was very, very thin, and then see what I could do with it. That's what I would be tempted to do to light this. Okay? But that's neither here nor there. This kit in its entirety, now I can sit here and do this really fast. I think I'm missing one part. No, I'm not. They're all here. There's 2 for the main body, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. When you count the stand, there are 18 parts to this. This one didn't come with decals, but I know where to find the aftermarket decals, and I think I've already ordered them, to be honest with you. Okay? Either that or I was just going to paint everything but Galactica, and, well, that's easy enough to do on a printer. The directions on this kit were very simple because it is a very simple kit. There are not that many parts to it. Okay? And this kit, I'm sure this is the honest truth, this kit could go for anywhere from $50, and that's what I paid for because it was open and missing decals, all the way up to $300 or $400 if you've got one in pristine condition. Okay, my other kit is sealed, and I don't intend to open the sealing. Now, being what it is, model builders are a little bit more sane than some of the Star Wars, Star Trek fans. I bet the value of this kit starts dropping some. Because the Moebius kit's out, and people were after this one because they want to build it. Okay? And it turned into a collector item because it was very rare. Revell did 3 releases of Battlestar Galactica stuff, but the Battlestar Galactica itself only got 2 releases. So that made this kit even harder to get, because when they did their last release a few years back, this wasn't one of them. They did the Base Star, the Viper, and the Cylon Raider. I don't know why they didn't do this for the 3rd one. It might have been the TV show was going and they couldn't get rights to the name Battlestar Galactica or something. I can already see there's going to be some bad fit issues in this guy back in here. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm going to do is set this guy aside, and we're going to start talking about what's in the box over here. Now, this thing, and I'm going to zoom some. My camera has funky zoom, so we're going to have to deal with this. There we go. Okay, this thing is not one big piece. I think they did that because in order to put it in this box, it'd have to be a really big box, and they don't really ship boxes. And that's also something to do with scales. Because if you read the box lid on this thing, it says it is a 4105 scale model. And I think they've got the weird scale because that was the scale of the Revell kit. Alright? Let me zoom back out a little bit. Now this is in the kit. It's printed on high gloss. This is cardstock. This is not paper. It's very nice. It could be framed. This was just concept art. Okay? You can see the back of it. Sorry, I haven't had much rest lately. You can buy this stuff online, is what it says. It's a Ralph McQuarrie concept art, okay, of what he thought the Battlestar would look like. They've been doing that. They did that with the Colonial Viper as well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull out some of the parts to this thing, and we're going to compare them to the old Revell kit, okay? So you guys can see some of the differences. Now this part is the spine of the kit. I got it backwards. It would be like this. This is the spine of the kit. Okay? You can see that it's roughly in the same scale. Roughly, I say that. Because some of the parts are bigger and some of the parts are smaller. It makes me think Revell didn't really care to go through getting this one correct. And you're going to see more of that in a few minutes. There's a lot of differences between these two kits. I've already taken the time to look at it. Like you can see, look at the detail on this, and then look at the detail on this. Everything's roughly in the same place. Everything's roughly the same shape, but there's 10 times the detail on this part than there is on this. Now, you can't really get after Revell too much for that. This was 79 molding technology, which means they probably couldn't get this kind of detail out of it. Okay? They just probably could not. And second, back then, model builders didn't care so much that things were detailed. Okay? This was good. This is actually one of the better detailed kits I've found from that time period. That's some very nice details on it. So why don't we take a look at the Alligator Head next? Okay? Because that's pretty easy to get out of this box. It comes in two parts. And it's got some pretty hefty pins on it. Alright? Pretty hefty pins. And there's some flashing on the pins, which is okay. There's no flashing on the parts. Let me roughly put this back together again. That's what you get for doing everything live on camera and not having, you know, cutscenes and stuff. So I like to do all this in one long take instead of, well, I've watched some YouTube channels where they have jittery views because the guy has a script he's following and he messes up occasionally. So he's shifting around. He's like that on the screen, while what he's saying comes out very consistent and fluid. Okay? I'm just cleaning some flash out of this tube. It got in a tube here, and the parts won't go together. That should do it. There's no flash on the outside of this model that I could find. Yeah, that fixed it up really nice. Here's the Alligator Head for the Moebius kit. These holes here are where the bridge goes. Okay? And I haven't located the bridge in the bag of parts yet, and you'll see that in a few minutes. The Moebius kit has like 45 or 50 parts, whereas the Revell kit has 18. Now, Thunder, no. Sorry, Thunderpaws thinks the tripod is a scratching post, and I have to yell at him all the time. Now, look at the top of the gator head on this one. And the top of the gator head on this one. Again, a lot of difference in detail. They are roughly the exact same size. So I think Moebius was trying to keep the kits in scale with each other. Okay? The details are very different here. I mean, look at the top here. We got big vents here. They're very sharp. The details are very nice on the Revell kit. Don't get it wrong. But they're not the same as the details on the Moebius kit. And I don't know which one's screen accurate. And I can't tell you. I haven't done enough research. I usually don't do that research until I'm building the kit. Okay? I do know the bridge looks a heck of a lot better on the Moebius kit, because here's the bridge on the Revell kit. If this will focus on the bridge, it will. Give it time. It's this line. Try here. That's a raised ridge. The bridge is not a raised ridge. It is a solid piece. So even if I wanted to try to make that bridge look correct, I'd have to shave this part off, reconstruct it, and raise this whole thing up with some styrene card to get the bridge to look correct. Okay? That would probably be the only mod I do to this kit. I know that there is an aftermarket resin kit for this, and it's expensive. It's about $100. Okay, and I bet that aftermarket resin kit sales just slump after this. But that's the way it is. Okay, let's look at the underside here. Underside here, there are 2 holes right there. There's parts that go all over the outside of this thing. And if you look, it's fairly well detailed. Nice panel lines on it. I don't know if the Galactica actually had those panel lines. I have to go back and watch. I just don't know. I have to go look on the internets. You can see this doesn't have the panel lines, and this looks a heck of a lot different than the underside of this. Very, very different. So after working with the AMT MPC Millennium Falcon, where they just stuck stuff on the outside and it didn't have to look like the studio model, it's probably what Revell did here. They just stuck stuff on the outside. This is probably some guy's idea of what the detail there is. He didn't try to replicate it very well. Being honest, you look at the back of the neck, you can see there's lots of detail in the belly. Then we get back to the engines. I'm going to go ahead and start with the engines next, because, well, they're easy to find in the box as well. Okay? So let's set that aside. Let's get the engines out of the box. Here's the engine brick for the Moebius. This is the top of the engine brick versus the top here. You can see they're roughly the same, a lot of the same stuff in the same place, except for this looks like the halves of a booster to a Titan C rocket, and this does not. Now, what I thought looked like tank treads are missing here. They are add-on parts, and there's a lot of detail panels missing from the sides of the kit, and that helps hide the seams really well. Okay, so you're not going to have a seam issue with this guy. This Revell kit's going to be a beast of seams. This one, not so much. Okay, because they're doing a good job of hiding them. And let's look at the underside real quick. Sorry, I haven't had much rest. And the underside here. Okay, and again, you got the same Titan 3C boosters cut in half stuck on there. And this framework, I found the framework in the bag. So this framework's on the Moebius kit. Okay, I found it in the bags. The belly of the beast is here. And I'm going to see if I can find the belly of the Moebius kit real quick. The problem with the belly is it's in multiple pieces, being honest with you. And there's part of the belly. And you can see there's an overlay that snaps in there. Okay? And here's some of the side panel pieces. They don't look anything like the detail in the Revell kit. They just don't. Alright? And here's the back of the neck. They just don't look the same. The next easy thing to pull out is the landing bays. Why? Well, because there's a direct analogy here to the Revell parts. Okay? This is the top, and this is the top. Okay? The 3 pegs, the 3 holes on the top of this, are where the part is going to mount up to the side of the body. Okay? For the landing bays. Same thing with this. The 3 holes are where this mounts the body. And you can see that, well, the holes are much smaller on the Revell kit. And there is actually some solid surfaces to glue in the Revell kit. So it'll hold up just fine. Okay. The Revell kit is open in the back and the front. I have the underside of the flight deck here. Okay. And it would go together thusly. Okay. So you can see that it is open. Just like on the Moebius kit is open. Okay. And you can see one side comes out pretty flat. I probably got them backwards. Yeah, no, I did not have them backwards. They do go this way. Okay. The Viper launch tubes are over on this side, and you can see them. They're not tubes, they're just grills. Okay. Again, the Revell kit is what it is from 1979. Okay. If Revell was making that today, it would be a much different kit. I've seen some of the Revell of Germany models, and they are very nice and well done. Okay, let's take a look at the Moebius one. It is roughly the same length as the, let me get them correct orientation. Yeah, it's roughly the same length. Okay, the rectangles on the top are roughly the same length. Now, the ends are not. Revell kit is longer on both ends. Okay? The detail is more pronounced and more sharp on the Revell kit. I hate to say it, but if we side by side, you can see it. The detail is sharper and more pronounced on the Revell kit. Now, I don't know if it was actually that way in the real show. Okay? Like if you look at this side, the piping on the side here is very sharp and looks good. The piping on the side here, well, it leaves a little bit to be desired. The piping on the underside is better. All right. There's the differences in those parts. Now, if I start looking in here, one thing Moebius did is the engine grill is empty. There are clear panels that go back here. So lighting the back of the Galactica is going to be really easy. Fiber optics are the same between the two kits, regardless. Here's the decals for the Moebius kit. They're fairly nice. There is a warning card that comes with the decals that basically states they're not going to fit very well. Be careful. Okay? And some of them come in pieces, and you're supposed to piece them together on the model. That's what it's saying. All right? So apparently they rushed the decals a little bit. Baggies of parts. We have 2 baggies of parts and a baggie of clear. I'm not going to open the clear. It's got a reflector type detail to it. That's because the Galactica's engines had a honeycomb look to it. I suspect there will be a photo etch set for this thing for too long. And the photo etch set's going to replicate that honeycomb look. And it'll look a heck of a lot better than that does. I suspect that's going to come. The directions, well, the directions for the Revell kit are very short. Here, there are a lot of parts. There's almost more parts on the first set of pages of the directions for the Moebius kit than there is for the entire Revell kit. Okay? And the bridge, again, looks like the bridge of the Galactica. Here we come over here, we're assembling the abdomen, so to speak. Lots of little parts for the abdomen. Okay? Side panels, you name it. And then we get to the Viper bays, and you know, this thing, I would be inclined to put a brass tube down the center of this thing just for strength, because you're putting some big parts together here, and they don't really have good locator pins, and you can see it right there that there's no real good locator pin on that, and that would worry me a little bit. turning the page. We got more parts here. Again, this thing's got a lot more parts. Now, I didn't get into the tank tread parts, and I'm going to do that in a second. What I call the tank tread. Almost done with the directions. Okay, then we got the Viper bays. Right here it says Port Perspective Landing Bay Matte Painting. Those landing bay matte paintings are on the sides of the box. You're supposed to cut them out and put them in the model. Okay? Which I think is a good thing. I know someone's going to come out with plastic, transparent plastic that you can put in there so you can backlight them. Okay? There'll be lighting sets for this thing before too long. And the final assembly is right here where you put everything together. Again, I don't like the size of some of these tabs on this thing. Just me. You know, there's ways to reinforce things. I don't think it's going to come apart. Moebius would have tested that, I would hope. Okay? And then you got your decal placement and painting guide. Okay? And there's a note in here, I'm going to read it. The original Battlestar Galactica miniature was painted off-white and light neutral gray with no cream or ivory tones. It is important to note that it was not weathered. Depth was achieved entirely by strong lighting, which cast long shadows and emphasized detail. There's a simple paint technique that will give your model greater depth and enhanced detail, even in normal lighting. After assembly, leave the engine panel tin snapped into place only, not glued, so it can still be removed, and leave the clear engine insert unattached. Spray the entire model with a base of primer gray. After the primer is dry, load your airbrush with white primer or white or neutral off-white paint without cream or ivory tones, and lightly dust the white over the model. Take your time and carefully. In other words, they're saying use a gray primer as pre-shading. Okay? And then lightly paint the thing. And if you do it correctly, all the detail will show. Okay? Make sure you don't put the paint too heavily. And then when the white coat is dry, gloss clear coat over the areas to be decaled to help make the application. And then dull coat it. Okay? So there you go. There's the directions, the painting guide. Okay? She's a beast of a ship. I do like this design far better than the reimagined one. I'm going to tell you that right now. I've always liked the original better. And I think Moebius did a good job of this. I have to assume Moebius did a much better job of it. Now the tank tread parts, they go across the back of the ship. They're in this bag. I'll go ahead and open this bag. Come on, I've already opened half the bags in this thing. 2 more are not going to kill. Okay, here's some of what I call the tank tread parts. Okay, those correspond to right there on the back of the Galactica model. All right, they're not even roughly the same. So I'm just looking at it and going, wow, there's a lot of differences. And to be honest with you guys, the only really way to tell which one's correct is to get out and look at your reference photos. And I don't know off the top of my head. I really don't know which one of these is going to be correct. Okay? I'm going to bring the camera up to me. And there's going to be some strong backlighting issues, I'm going to warn you guys, because there's a bright window behind me. Again, I don't know which model is more accurate. I haven't taken a good hard look. I haven't worried about it. Being honest with you guys, I haven't. One thing I forgot to show you. It does come with a very heavy steel rod for the base. Okay, if you don't want to light it. The one thing I don't like about this kit, and this is the main thing I don't like about this kit, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, is the base. It's tiny. If the base is inserted in the center of gravity, that doesn't matter so much. But an 18-inch kit should have a bigger base, in my opinion. It's just going to look funny to have such a tiny base on that kit. It just really is going to look funny to me. Okay? So you're catching me as I'm bagging everything up. I'm going to protect this thing underneath the direction so it doesn't get scratched. And I am going to go get this video up on YouTube fairly quickly. Okay? I'm going to, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be making some videos about how YouTube works for me. What I do for video cameras and that sort of thing. I just get the feeling some of you would like to see those. So I'm going to make them. Okay? And this is pretty much it for the Galactica review. I am going to, again, go get busy. I got a long day ahead of me. I've got to do payroll for my little business. BB wants to work on her bear guy. We've started that. I just haven't gotten the videos up yet. And, well, life in general. Okay? Life in general. I've got workmen coming all day long to take care of this house because we're selling it. Alright? That, well, you guys already know that. I've already packed up the hobby room. There's not much left in here. It's a very empty room. Alright, everyone. I will talk to you later. I'm looking for the remote to shut down recording. There it is. It's a Sony. Okay? See you guys later.